Welcome back, friends. I've been told by the front desk that we've got the key to start Hotel Infinity No Wall Clip by Nerd Squared. Nerd Squared, your room is ready to go.
All right, thank you for that intro. Hello, I'm Nerd Square. You may recognize me from other speedrun events and run mascot horror games, but we're going to play a very different flavor of game today. You might notice this webcam setup that you can hopefully see me on. This is a VR game. In fact, this is on MetaQuest 3, MetaQuest 3, which makes recording this a little difficult, but if anything jank happens, just blame Meta, I guess. But this is Hotel Infinity. I'll get more into the run, or more into the game as we go through the run. But it's basically a VR puzzle, and you'll see what that entails very shortly. I'm also running with the scale mode, which I'll demonstrate here by going through the controls, where you can kind of freely walk around like this. But there's also alternative locomotion, which looks a bit like this, where you can move the camera with the sticks and also move with the stick, like traditional VR games. But we're going to stick with room scale, because that's going to save a ton of time over playing with the stationary mode that I just showed you. I think it's like, I want to say a 3-4 minute difference between stationary and room scale. So that's going to look very goofy on the camera, again, for anything you're about to see. The time is going to start when we put the game right there. I'll scroll right here. So I'm going to click new game, and then this blueprint will disappear, and that's when time will start. And start. All right. So when we start the game here, we'll end up in this little void, after solar void. There we go. See it wandering around me. That's the boundaries of the play space that I'm playing in. This is VR, of course. If you want specific dimensions, it's 2 meters by 2 meters, or 6 foot 7 inches by 6 foot 7 inches, anything. So that's boundaries we'll be doing one here. And this is a scale first game, so all of the movements I'll be doing throughout the run are all going to be controlled by my body. So not only will it look silly, as you'll see, it'll also be very difficult and intensive because there's like lots of tight movements I'll on. Like I was saying during the intermission, our room is ready, so we're going to get our keychain wrist chain in there. So place down our space with our hot straight for our room. Another thing to mention as well is that this is made by the same people that made Manifold Guard. So it's essentially a VR bag. You'll see, and I'll become very apparent right at the start because I'll do this go to this while I'm going here. You're already in the lobby. I'm gonna run around here. This would not make a lot of sense, but that's not including games for you. Start name really quick there. Look at our feet. Unfortunately, something not. Yeah, it's taking the same garden around one for so trying to run around quickly, literally run around quickly because it's just even exposed based around leaving the body. The only how fast you move in this kind of run is based on how fast you can this move. So there's a lot of machine and some that run. Now it's just good because of all the tight corners that you can spinning in circles basically. So getting that. Currently, we're gonna assemble this button for calling elevator. Very interesting to use not including mechanics, it's going to be a lot of things. And we have to get some parts to assemble this button. And all those parts are in the same box, but which part is useful depending on where the knob is. Very not including mechanics there. Which also explains why there's no wall clip running. This is essentially our glitches category for the game. You can walk the wall pretty easily with this CPVR, and it's around 4 minutes shorter than what you're seeing here. I've anticipated no wall clip for this, obviously because it's no glitches file, but also because it's no wall clip, you can see a lot more of the cool colors that are in this game. That's got a really cool you'll hear it right up on the style right here. Right there. Absolutely beautiful. I actually like very nearly teared up when I first saw it on my first playthrough with Starfield. Because like I said, it's the same people that made Manifold Over. There's going to be a lot of trippy, non-PvE stuff going on for the level design. And you'll definitely see that in later chapters. So I mentioned now this is the no wall category. We can't clip through walls. Well, that has a little bit of a caveat that going fast, especially for a no wall clip scenario. Um, because the way the game actually loops on stuff like this is at the edge of every there's a secure portal that will enter when you cross it. If you're not careful, you can accidentally get in between some of those portals and go to the attack you do. You have to get 3 times in the clock here. 7:10, 1:15, 12:30, although the last blocked out a little bit. And you start going through all these labyrinthine hallways like, now, it's a door room. Can't get through this door, but this is in the wall clip, so we'll just get over it. This is a pretty good showcase of the non-clicking mechanics, because open the suitcase and this big slime tile puzzle we have to do. Yeah, it's slime tile puzzles. And this looks like a handle to open the suitcase. Just kidding, that's a door. That's the kind of scenery you can expect. A few things salt here. Clean some circuits by placing some blocks. You might chance to do that too, but the slipper out is since you find out the angle once again into pop up again. So even in a 80% run, we're kind of limited to what skip about, so you can put through things with wall flipping. I literally just walk through. However, you are still, still have some constraints placed on you. So like I mentioned earlier, we're playing in a 2 meter by 2 meter play space. And if you ever leave that play space, instead of actually displaying the environment, back out there, instead of just displaying the environment like it should, being able to black out, show a white dot where you left the play area to kind of guide you to where you left to get back to the mountains. We can't skip things, we are still limited with what we can skip. It's hard to pick where it's kind of disorienting when you play it for the first time. Because the goal is essentially to get down to that courtyard area down there. And it just looks like a long way down the yard. It looks so safe. If you're at all afraid of heights, you're probably not going to enjoy some parts of this run, sadly. Very good puzzle here. Orient the wings like that. And then place those ornaments like that. It's actually a pretty cool puzzle when you're solving it for the first time. So those ornaments that I placed are actually miniature versions of some statues that are in the room, and you have to place the ornaments in the rings there relative to their position, to the larger version's position to you. Pretty cool mechanic for that puzzle there. Oh, there we go. Next, that is the first chapter done. There's 5 chapters in the game, and the goal of each one, minus the last 2, is to, I guess, this 4th chapter, to get those black hole orbs as our new collectible in the game and place those in the suitcase. At the beginning of that chapter, we have the black border areas we have for. Not a whole lot goes on in them because they're kind of fixed as far as the pacing goes, so this will be a good one to knock out a couple of donations.
And donations we do have. We have $5 from Anonymous. No comment, but thank you all the same. We have another $5 from Alu Vixipede. Been loving this marathon. Thanks for so many hours of exquisite content. Thank you so much for your donation, helping with our wonderful charity of Go Rescue, helping dogs who need to find the right home.
So we'll go ahead and start moving there. We do have to wait a little bit because you have to wait until the room open. But that way, the room loads exactly for the next room. I kind of like to separate each chapter by types of puzzle mechanics that we see throughout. That first chapter we just did was a lost there. The first chapter that we just did was kind of introduction to basic puzzle mechanics. And here, what we're going to choose things like this, where it's turn levers like this, and things here outside the normal play area. And over the next type of puzzle you see later, where kind of similar to the green puzzle that we did in the chapter 1, I'll do a miniature version of the environment and affect something in the actual level. 80% there's actually a small time saver you can do during each of the elevator rides where if you click out of the elevator and you start moving as soon as the level goes in. Obviously, you can't do that here, it's no wall flip. Also, while this elevator ride is going, I like to just finish around using my keychain while I wait, just to pass the time. Make sure the people drop. Oh, there it is.
I feel like I would do that too if I was standing around in the elevator.
Yeah. And so the pretty cool puzzle here, we walk through these hallways, and it's like the same about the miniature versions of rooms, affecting the bigger versions. Suitcases and boxes out of the way. And in this next hallway, after much turning, I should say, there's going to be what I call a negative room puzzle. It's kind of a spot the difference sort of thing. We have to place objects at certain things like this. And you're supposed to use a spyglass that shows you where all these objects are supposed to go. I already know locations that the items need to go in ahead of time, so just go ahead and place them quickly. Unlock the store, we can open early and into the elevator early. That's technically not a wall flip because we have not put out of bounds if you get that. We can just open the door early, and that works in the way it's patched too, enough. Alright, so we'll take the store up, and we're gonna have this probably my favorite puzzle in the game for being fast. You'll see what we get there. Just like to do one of those puzzles right again. That's all in the store right here, right? There we go. Now the next puzzle here, we have to use a bunch of shapes on this tower right here, and it looks really satisfying to run fast. Love this. There we go, just like that. I've tried swinging in past attempts at commentating this before, but oftentimes I deprive myself of the whole point of me swinging it. That's how fast that puzzle typically goes. That's the last puzzle of this area, or this chapter, I should say. Like I said, you have to get these black holes in the chapter, and you do the black hole that's better behind finishing one of these puzzles. This is black hole, and you just have to wait for suitcases on. You need to be kind of careful with how close you are to the suitcase, because if you're too close to the suitcase and you try to place the orb in, the suitcase won't take it. You have to wait for the suitcase to fully materialize and then place the orb in. They got another one of these black border areas, which are basically sort of the way to reform it yourself, but other auto scrollers, so more animations. thing with this one, over sauce, winding around this corner on the bow. Looks so cool. So I can make sure that the door is closed there before I push this button, otherwise it can move something into it. So I gotta be careful of that. The big thing with this chapter, because I spoke earlier about chapter after the beginning, starting the mechanics, this one involves a lot of lever puzzles. Some new things are in the background. Let's see a good example of that to get out of this elevator. Because there's pieces of a placard moving by moving the three levers. And also later on in the chapter, there's really cool set of puzzles right after each other. See those when you come up. This one left, this one right, and this one all the way to the right as well. This one to the left, this one also to the left, and this one up. There we go, like piece that placard. Which means this side plays out the way second even. And with these quick maths on this piano here, which I already know solutions for ahead of time. Just like that, we're going to do the best bartending minigame ever. So that's actually what this is. In reality, it's some color matching, but it's really fun the way it's done. And music in the background, it's not just, and it just looks really cool and done fast as well. You also don't have to turn this the whole 360, you can just like vibrate back and forth like that. Okay, hold on, that one. There we go. Oh yeah, that one's completed right then. No. The other one, there we go. One, there we go. These seem actually work really puzzles, but it's sort of really cool when the path is VR. And the door opens from the freezer. You go all the time, and I got this hammer, break back this glass, or break open this ice, you know, to the store. It's fine that I clipped it a little bit there because the door already opened by that point. And another negative proving puzzle, which really can be done fast once I do that. There we go. Next T-bot and a trophy there, a soda, and there's a wine glass in each part. Boom. That's why I love running this game, because even when you're not breaking it by clipping, the puzzles have been really good and done fast. Alright. So now we're here, in the middle of this auditorium. We're, I guess, tap dancing? Don't really know what we do, but we're tap dancing right now. And how those is we'll follow our footsteps, which I did Black Floyd earlier. But occasionally, I'll grab those yellow balls around the track. And I don't want to chase it too much, but there is a potential for a sock lock here. Except sometimes you just want to go dark and make this medium to become much harder. There's a chance for the lines just not working in the game. Just not working past that point, right here. So I hope it doesn't happen. Be really careful here to make sure it doesn't happen. Okay, so what happened about Softlock, thankfully we didn't, is the room would not be lit like it is right now, but you see a bunch of black. So the game will continue as normal. Let's complete this puzzle where we use the orbs. The black hole orb will not spawn right here after we move this last orb. So I'm thankful we didn't get that, because I started getting that fairly recently, and it's made me really get kind of scared with this stuff, but thankfully we didn't get that. Breathing a sigh of relief now because we avoided that. Because that low-key kind of scared me. The suitcase spawns, I can place those. Alright. I do have a timer running on my side, let me check it. Okay, behind my usual pace, but that's not too bad. I did stop it something, so that makes sense. Alright. We're starting chapter 4. We're in another one of those flight bounding the void areas, so that would be a good time for some donations.
I have messages for chat. Yeah, I do, and do things that they can donate for, such as our upcoming game. You can choose the playable character, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You can choose Rudolph, the main character, Clarice, his girlfriend, Hermie, our lovable elf friend, and or Yukon Cornelius. Yukon is currently in the lead, but if you want to take the it from somebody else, Rudolph, Clarice, or Hermie, you have to put exclamation point donate in the chat and put your money in towards one of those. All of this will get us towards our milestone objective of Spin Rhythm. We can get more music with the bonus indie game remix showcase. We need $2,222.22. Chat, I know you can do it.
Alright, so now we're on Respier Height towards Nightmare. And we are essentially on the outer edge of the hotel. We're even walking on the catwalk still. This. And the idea is we're going to move some of this structure around, setting the rest of the level, and with leaving that right there. You know, it's this right back here, so we can go over to that window. And once we break open the spots, we're going to get this. We are essentially placing lines to the maze. Shouts to the witness, because that's basically what most of the puzzles in this chapter are like. See a pretty blatant example of that, actually, very soon. I need to be careful, it says right here. I need to be careful going through this maze, because if I move my hands too far away from the maze, the game will drop my input, not start the maze over from the beginning. But thankfully, we didn't get that. See my hands in the window there. I'm taking a quick ride down there. Oh my god, really high up. We're taking a quick ride down there. That hedge maze is where we'll end the chapter because we essentially want to go to that structure. Not outside the elevator. We essentially want to get to that structure, that white structure there in the middle. Because we'll activate a phone there for good reasons. And that'll take us to the next chapter. And this hedge maze, when you're first playing the game, is very confusing. I've definitely gotten lost in it on my first few runs. In fact, during one of my very first Steam runs that I did, where I actually did proper skill chats, I actually stubbed my toe on the couch. Make sure that it's a safety person playing VR. It's a message here.
Darn right.
Especially with a game like this, where you're constantly moving. I want to give real quick shouts to Roadwin, I think is how you pronounce it. The current world record holder for the 80% version of the skill run. Me and him have been in competition back and forth for world record at 20% since the game came out last November. And it's been really fun seeing the time get as low as it has. Especially for no wall clip, because actually in passing this event, I got 2 world records that are both a half minute ahead of my previous record. So that was fun. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll get that today, because I don't think the pace is quite there, but we got pretty close, I think. I also like this elevator ride down to the next chapter, because as we go down here, we'll see this room that's in front of us just degrade more and more and get more and more distorted. Kind of backwards us. Yeah, that's the back of Zumbi that just came out. You see all the article smart rooms floating about, and eventually there'll be nothing. And we even see when we get to the next level, the next chapter, everything's just really decrepit. Alright, so now we're in the last chapter of the game. I don't know, what is weird. Yeah, it's probably fine, we'll deal with it. Yeah, we're in the last chapter of the game. Sans the audio being screwy. Like I said, everything's going to be pretty decrepit actually. There's also a lot of really cool large-scale puzzles that we see in each chapter as well. Also a lot of really tight corners, much like in chapter 1, so there's going to be a lot of constant turning left and right. A lot of puzzles revolve around stuff like that, where it's a major versions of the room. Let's move these blocks out of the way so we can get the door block in place. That can actually progress to the next room. That door block in particular needs to be very careful when moving it. Because if I try to move through that door before the block is holding in place, the game will straight up crash. And it took me a while to figure out why I was occasionally going to crash there. And it turned out it's just because I used the door too quickly. Go figure. Right, so I think it's in this next room. Yeah, it's this room. We are basically going to do a life-size version of the working lab. Anyone's familiar with that? And this is by far my favorite part of the game. It looks amazing. Because you have this miniature version here that you can use for reference off of the life-size version over there. And not so hard. I promise you section good. Let's see. Maybe not, that's good. Yeah, balls in place. Very easy solution here. Just hold this, move that up. There we go, puzzle done. I have a really cool, not really puzzle, but just kind of really cool gear set piece here in this room. So this last room for the real final puzzle, we're pushing ourselves along this curve, but basically pushing ourselves along on some rails. Occasionally not using very physical VR stuff to open the pathway coming up. Like right here, we'll be physically rotating the tunnel to get it to line up the track, which is very cool looking. This peg right here, I'm trying to move myself on, is a little close to that archway, so I have to be careful there. Start down and go to the store. We're gonna open the store and go to the very final puzzle of the game. Which reveals to us that the hotel is stopping the album to break apart, as you can see with that black hole in the distance. So we essentially have to break apart the hotel to basically save our reality, more or less. Like Mantle of Garden, this game doesn't have a story, but I like to imagine that's what's happening. Let's break apart the hotel here. We'll blast these up. Got this vast black hole orb. Right. I'll go here, grab my foot pedal. I'm using the timing run on my end. I need to stop time in a second. Time is when I place this last black hole orb in space. Alright, and time. Alright, I'm very curious what time that was on my side. Because I was also timing on my side too. That's very good. So 28-29. My T records I mentioned earlier were like a minute faster than that, so very likely gonna get a world record this soon, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, a good run overall. Obviously, I stopped to explain things. I wasted a bit of time there, but I'm still really well overall. Definitely giving myself some time to cool down. Because, like I said, most physically intense speedrun I've ever done, even more so than seeing other VR games that I've run. That's even believable. So, definitely gonna give myself a time to fully rest after this. Real quickly, I do want to give shout outs for you. Move on to the next run. Obviously, I mentioned Roguelin earlier. He's been pretty good competition with the game in the N% side of things. I also want to shout out William Shear and his team here that you're seeing in the credits. I absolutely adored their previous work with Manful Garden, and this game very much follows in that footsteps. Definitely one of the most under appreciated, I guess, VR games I've ever seen. I definitely would be really cool to see more eyes on this for sure, because it's like a real gem of a game. Yeah, I think that's about it for me. Want to find my stuff, twitch.tv/MPR and Foursquare. I do see around a bunch of niche games like this. It's pretty Poppy Playtime and mentioned I started, and also distributed and games like this. And also a lot of the more mainstream horror stuff. So if you like horror or weird indie stuff, I'm definitely the place to check out. Yeah, I think that's it for me. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Nerd Squared, for that really cool VR run of Hotel Infinity. Welcome, friends. If you're just joining us, we are No Glitches Allowed 2026. We are raising money for Go Rescue, a shelter for dogs in Virginia that helps just over 2,000 dogs to date with no sign of showing down. And you can help that with exclamation point donate in the chat. I'd like to remind all of you that we do have an upcoming game where you, chat, yes, you can choose the first song. You can have I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor, I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston, or Twist and Shout by the Beatles. But there's not much time left in, so you've got to get do exclamation point donate in the chat and put your donations in now. So coming up, we have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by Gavin and BD. We're getting our reindeer game ready, so don't fly away just yet. We'll be back with bells on very soon.